Bulls Gold is delivered to you via the Barroom Network, now in its 7th year of providing podcasts about Chicago sports, movies, and more. Make sure to subscribe to the Barroom Network for free and easy downloads of its programming, and visit its merchandising store at deepdishtees.com to purchase t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. Now, on with the show.
Hey, welcome to Bulls Gold here on the Barroom Network. I'm Edward Schuler, joined as always by Salim Sudawala. Salim, how you doing today, man?
Ed, I'm good. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Bulls are back in action. About a weird result considering, who they played the first two games. You would think that they would have split. If they'd split, it would have been like a loss on the road against Miami and a win on the road against the Wizards, but it happened the other way around. Still, really good game. DeMar is still DeMar. Vooch is back. Everything's going well for the most part. Obviously, Zach has been missing, so we gotta see if he plays tonight. He is available, so I don't know if that means that he's gonna actually play, because they're just saying he's available. So I don't know what that means necessarily if they're gonna put him in the lineup. But we'll find out. But how are you doing, man?
I'm good. We are coming off the first two games of a season. As you mentioned, the Bulls splitting games on the road against Miami with a win and a loss to the Wizards last night, 102-100, really close game. And now they're starting the first of 3 games on their homestand tonight with the home opener against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So everything is getting into full swing. We're loving DeMar DeRozan. Patrick Williams is getting beat down by everyone online, and it's crazy. So we got a lot to get into today. So what better way to start with reactions to the beginning of a season than bringing in just some of the best people that you will ever meet and talk to and listen to in the Bulls community. John Sabine, Matt Peck, and Big Dave. Guys, welcome back to Bulls Gold. Glad to have you back on, man.
Bulls Outsiders! Forever!
Hey! Yes, sir. I'm with that. All I want to know right now is how many hours of sleep Daddy John has gotten in the last week. That's the most important question. We talk about the Bulls all the time. I don't even catch up with my friend John.
This is so nice. Also, this is the gold standard of Bulls podcast, first of all, to be on this one. And I'm actually getting my bit. We have like the chillest kid. It's great. I don't know what happened. So I'm feeling well rested, and I woke up at 6, but other than that, I'm great.
I rolled out of bed roughly 45 minutes before we hopped on the Zoom call.
Oh my God. I'm with Matt.
That's amazing. So I go back
That
early,
sounds awesome.
But he's chill.
I had 2 kind of intervals of sleep. I kind of fell asleep early after the Bulls game. I just was super tired, but then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was back up for a couple hours, and then I went back to sleep.
Yeah. That sounds nice, man.
Yeah.
Oh, John, I sent you some baby clothes, man.
You did?
Yeah.
I should be buying you clothes. Well, thank you. Matt,
I'm not against that. Buy me clothes, sir.
Matt actually got us our first baby gifts, Bulls onesies immediately.
Nice.
Oh,
like the
why is he celebrating?
Because I won.
Matt was in a competition with everyone.
I mean, he beat
you.
He beat
when you get the beautiful, happy, joyous news that a dear friend or family member of yours is expecting a newborn baby. There is a race to be the first one to send them baby clothes. Some kind of gift.
Y'all, Matt's mom sent us gifts. It was like the nicest thing in the world. And so, for the Bulls opener against Miami, I was like, we got to dress him in the Bulls and then change him into Mavs stuff for the late game. And she was like, he's outgrown them both already. and I was like, oh man, is that how babies work? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's how babies work, man.
Yeah, but we're thrilled. I'm talking Bulls. I feel like the vibe should be high. right now.
Yeah, they're a fun team still.
Yes.
Even with mostly being upset about the offseason of doom and gloom, they're a fun team still.
Yeah,
They are.
They're still really fun to watch. Both of these games have been really entertaining. So let's get into it. So we'll start with you, John. What stuck out to you in these first couple of games that the Bulls have played?
What's it got to be? I mean, besides DeMar DeRozan is that guy.
Yeah.
And I think I'm someone who is dumb, and I'm like, oh, who won't be? There's no way he'll be as good, right? But I don't. He should be in the most valuable. Like, there's 2 games, obviously, but if you look at his work from last year, like the word valuable is the important word of that award, and it's not best player, and It's not like most talented or who would you want. He is the most. He that guy does everything, and without him, we'd be a completely different team. We'd probably be tanking. And so he's been unbelievable in a way that is hard to not get super excited, because I do think he can go head to head, pound for pound with any of the players in the league and best them or hold his own. And so that's been my takeaways. I think I've leaned towards DeMar detractor. I don't know why. I just love hating on things. And I'm like, oh, you idiot. He's fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. I was just expecting a drop off. Like, I don't know why I thought it was an outlier, because he's always been really good.
Yeah. It was always this with the Spurs, people didn't pay attention what he was doing there. Just that mid-range game was like, he had improved a lot. And only difference with the Bulls is his usage is higher. That's it.
Yeah, he's my takeaway. And negatively, Pat Williams is another takeaway, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm with John. The biggest thing so far through 2 games is DeMar's averaging 34.5 points. Still got it. And I know, like Salim, you've been making the point about it's just higher usage, but he was doing this. He's been this efficient for a few years now. That's the other thing I think the non-believers of DeMar overlook is not only, it's just something that he has done for a long time at an elite level. He's just doing a little bit more of it. Is that the skills that DeMar uses to be dominant on a basketball court have very little to do with like high flying, leaping athleticism. So if he ages from 32 to 33, guess what? He still has the footwork. He still has the pump fakes. He still has the ability to get to his spots in the mid-range, knock him down with one of the smoothest strokes in the NBA, or get to the free throw line. That's not going to change from being 32 or 33. And he's proved that to us in these first 2 games. The other thing, obviously, Pat's been frustrating, but I think the second biggest takeaway for me in these first 2 games, especially without Zach, is that second unit is a lot of fun to watch, because it's like chaotic and frenetic and they're running up and down the floor, until it's not fun because there's too much chaos and too much frenetic, and they can't get good looks. They're turning the ball over. They don't know where to go late in the shot clock. So, you almost never saw Billy have both DeMar and Zach off the floor at the same time last season. Mm-hmm. With Zach resting in the knee and, oh, dear God, whatever's going on there. When DeMar's getting his rest, this team, it's like a circus of crazy. And sometimes it's fun crazy and sometimes it's bad crazy. And they need to figure that out.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you have some, ball handlers in the second unit, but I always get kind of frustrated when, like, Caruso, I love Caruso, right? We love Caruso for the things that Caruso does, but like, I get frustrated when he tries to handle the ball in the half court, because he just can't do it. And he always, like, when he drives, he kind of drives aimlessly into the paint, because he's kind of doing that, like, that Draymond thing where he's driving, but then he's not going to really shoot. So then he kind of throws the ball up in the air. Like, is he trying to pass it or shoot it? What's he doing here? Like, what's going on? It's like, just cut it out. Just don't do it anymore.
DeMar DeRozan, I mean, is the obvious answer about who stands out. It's just been incredible. It's just fun watching people be wrong about him. It really is. Right. And people were definitive and on it about how it's over and trash and that's it and he's done and all of that. They were very sure in their wrongness. And that's just fun to watch. It really is. It's really fun to watch that. Him just continue to just be elite, and we'll still question it. And I guarantee you it will still be questioned the entire season for him. Like, yeah, he did it again, but can he do it again? Like, it's going to continue to be questioned. The more he keeps doing it, people are going to just keep questioning it. So I'm gonna just keep enjoying that. Vucevic has definitely stood out for me. What is he averaging? Like 19 and 15, I think, right now.
Right.
On like a 57% true shooting percentage. Like he's been solid. That game yesterday, these first two games show you just the kind of good player he is. When something isn't working, then I'm gonna go do the other thing really, really, really well. And the first game, the shooting wasn't there, but he said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab 17 rebounds. How about that? How about I play some really good defense against Bam Adebayo? How about that? How about I do those things? Oh yeah, that'll help you. Great, I'll do that. He comes in the next game again, not shooting well. Okay, well, give me the ball. I'm gonna bang in the post, and I'm gonna get fouled every time and not miss a free throw. Okay, and then I'm gonna get Porzingis, John's favorite former player. Get Porzingis up out of here. I'm gonna get him up out of here real quick with these 6 fouls. How about I do something like that? And yeah, he's out of there. So that's what good players do. And what we always have tried to explain about Nikola Vucevic, about the difference between him and other centers, is sometimes other centers can't get their best thing taken away from them. That's it. It's over. And he's such a 5-tool center that you're not going to take away all 5. Like, one of those things is going to work for him. So he's like, okay, I'll do these other things until everything else gets right. And again, this in 2 games, if he's doing that and he's looking like he's looking, I'm very excited for him. And also defensively, he stood out.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for that.
The defensive part has been like last season, I always complained that people were a little too harsh on his defense. Like, especially because he was mostly doing his job. Like, he wasn't going to cover for everyone else, but he was doing his role. But this season, he's been even better. Like, he's looked quicker. His feet, like, he's moving a lot quicker. Like, you see him defending at the level on the pick and roll, and then so he's getting up high in the perimeter, and then he's quickly moving back and getting back and protecting a rim too. Like, he's been running around on that court a lot more mobile. He looks too. Like, he just, like, I don't know if, like, I know people talked about him slimming down. I don't know if that's been a factor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been a factor.
Yeah, but yeah, he just looks so much like different on the defensive end as well.
And also, one more thing. I want to shout out Kobe White also, because I like what I'm seeing from Kobe White and how he's playing. And I've been a Kobe White defender for a long time. I've been on that island for a minute, and it's just good to see him forget the play and move on to the next one. That's the best thing I can say about what he's doing now. He's not putting it all on his shoulders, on whether defensively or offensively. Whether he hits the shot, misses the shot, whatever he does, he's on to the next play. And I like that from him, man, because sometimes, you remember you would see it. Like, he would think about it, linger, and then he go 1-on-4, trying to make up for it. You know what I mean? And he's not doing that now. He's taking his time, finding his flow. He's not forcing anything. He's going inside. He's shooting the 3. Like, he's doing and he's being solid on defense. This is all I need him, just stay in front of people and do that. So he's doing those things, and I really appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah, Will last night, the GOAT said it best. Like, yeah, look, defensively it's so frustrating sometimes with him. But offensively, he's doing what we need. Like, he's knocking down 3s. Like, the hate for him has gone absurd. Like, Bulls fans have gone crazy with, like, the Kobe hate. It's like, y'all need to relax. Like, get this guy off my team. I hate him. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, what are you watching? It's like,
oh my God, look,
you guys are just looking.
Vooch, Kobe, like, this team would have nobody.
Bulls fans are on one recently. Doesn't it feel that way on Twitter? Like, it feels like it's been a full moon for a month and a half.
Recently?
But it feels more. It feels more. You know what I mean? Like, it was. I think because people were, like, mad about the offseason in a way that I was like, what did we think would happen? Like, what would you like? Do you think people were going to take, like, LeBron was like 2010 LeBron was going to take his talent somewhere? Like, nothing happened this offseason. What are people mad about?
And on the topic of the
but
offseason,
we didn't get Rudy Gobert for Kobe White and a second round pick, John.
Thank God. Oh my God.
Well,
truly.
It's funny because really on the topic of the offseason, Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic have looked good so far. And they, in my, so like my takeaway, my takeaway right now is that if the Bulls do manage to get healthy, so if Lonzo Ball does come back, Zach is coming back tonight, Caruso, and if Caruso and Ayo move back to the second unit at any point this season, the Bulls look like a team that has a lot of depth in that second unit and a lot of different options. So to me, with Dragic and Drummond playing really well, both vets, both playing in some big games, there's a lot of potential here. And it's looking like two pretty decent signups. I mean, they're not game changers, but it's filling out your bench and it's upgrading some players from the last couple of seasons that we didn't really want to put in those situations.
And they're not
I would say the first game. Right, exactly. You're not building with, like, they already are who they are. But I would say that it was a game changer in game one because Dragic is probably the second reason they won that game. I mean,
revenge game.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. If it weren't for him, they would have completely lost.
I have a question for you guys. Who played better, Kyle Lowry or Goran Dragic in that game?
Oh, it was Dragic.
They chose Lowry over him, right? They traded him away for Lowry.
Right.
They did.
Right.
They did for my man Biscuit, as I call him.
Look, Dragic is used to waking up. You said what?
Go ahead, finish, please.
I was gonna say Dragic is used to waking up in Miami and going off for buckets, man. So that wasn't really anything for him. Like, it wasn't nothing new.
He slept in his apartment.
Yeah.
Right. Ed, I need you to help me on Drummond. I think Drummond is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay.
Like he does something boneheaded and then he makes up for it immediately. You know what I mean? And then he does something great and then at the same time does something boneheaded. And I ride a wave of emotions watching him play because I don't know how to feel. It's so weird, man. I need you to help me with this, man.
I think Billy just needs to make a rule for Andre. It's like, hey, man, you do a lot to help our team. But anytime you're on the court in a game and I see you put the ball on the floor, 100 laps tomorrow. Right. I don't care if we're practicing as a team or not. You are running 100 laps. That's not what he does, but he thinks he has this incredible ball handling ability. And it's like, no, dude, you're Andre Drummond. Crash the boards, run for lobs, do not dribble. Bad things happen when Drummond tries to dribble.
No, yeah, he does. He tries to, he gets in his head that he's like a guard or he has guard skills and he can do these things.
Look, y'all say this right now, but wait until my man starts shooting threes.
I'm not even mad about that. Honestly, I'm not even mad about him shooting threes. I'm like, he's hitting them and looks normal doing it. And he looked normal shooting free throws. And, he's a horrific free throw shooter. He's like 47%. Yeah. But he's been solid.
Last night, and they were the first ones he had missed. I think he was like 9 for 9.
In 9 attempts. Yes, exactly. Like, so I'm not sure. It's just those things like Salim and talk, the dribbling, like, I'm gonna give you the hezzy right here. No, bro, I don't need that. Or not, a defender coming to him and he doesn't go for the block. You know what I mean? He just lets him go ahead and score. Or it's just randomness. It's just real random acts of wild thing, like with Andre Drummond. That should be his TV show. Random acts of wild.
I gotta roll with it, man. The good Dre and bad Dre, man. I gotta roll with it.
I feel you. It's better than the alternative.
No, it's for sure. It's better
than what I mean.
Dre and Mr. Drummond. Those are the two sides of it.
Dre and Mr. Drummond. That nails it. No, their chemistry's been really good too. Like Dragic and Drummond's they just know where, like, Dragic knows where Drummond's going to be on the court, and just like they have this thing like, look, I'm just going to lob it up, and I know you're going to go up and just finish, right?
Yeah, I mean their two-man game is the most steady part of that second unit offensively so far,
right?
Which cool, and it does, as Ed was saying, prove that those signings were underwhelming as they may have been in the eyes of the fan base. Useful, like those guys combined to play 40 plus minutes off the bench last night. That's something, but it's also not ideal if the best thing your second unit offense has going for it is Goran throwing these ridiculous prayer lobs up to Drummond and hoping that they connect.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's funny, like I kind of compared it last couple of weeks I've been kind of comparing it to like the Garrett Temple signings.
Oh God,
Garrett Temple. Like, people were upset about the Garrett Temple signing earlier, but he was solid. He was productive. He ended up being the best perimeter defender for the Bulls.
Yeah, he did.
And he did a lot of good things. I'm
it's
saying
already better than Garrett Temple.
Guy. No, I'm just saying people were upset. I'm just saying people were upset about in the sense that that's all he did. That's all AK did, sign Garrett Temple, and then Garrett Temple he did end up being a big part of the rotation that season, and he was valuable for the team. And when he was out, the Bulls missed his defense. They 100% did. So I'm just kind of saying, in that sense, so far, I feel like AK has, at least so far, obviously we're only 2 games in, but he's hit free agency every offseason. He hasn't had a bad free agency.
He hasn't sit out.
Yeah. So far.
Not at all. He hasn't.
Even if it's not been a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's not been a big move, he's still, so far, he's been very good in free agency.
And again, I don't hate the Drummond move. I'm not mad.
Exactly.
It's just, I'm asking Ed, how do I enjoy it? Because it's hard for me to enjoy because it's like this the whole time. It's no, what are you doing? Oh God, great. That was awesome. All in one play.
You know what I mean? You just got to accept my man's for who he is. If you accept him for who he is.
I don't think that's a good thing because I didn't like him coming in. I shouldn't do that. I need another way. I need another way to do it because again, I know he's good. And again, he had 10 points, 10 rebounds yesterday. All effective. You know what I mean? All these things I see him, he's effective and he's better than I don't have to see Tony Bradley ever again in my life. And that's awesome. And I appreciate him so much for those things. But I'm just trying to figure a way to enjoy it constantly. Maybe you're right. Maybe I gotta
think of something. But now I'm thinking of it all right, the bigger the mistake, the bigger he's gonna make up for it. So
I like that.
Okay, that helps. You know what? That helped. That definitely helped. Okay.
So he's
like a bad a cool father.
Yeah.
Who forgets to pick you up. And then when he gets there, he gets you, and then he takes you to Chuck E. Cheese or something like that.
There we go. So if he goes isolation and tries to take somebody off the dribble, on the other end he's gonna make a crazy play that helps us win the game.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ed. See, I knew you had. Thank you, Ed. That helped a lot. That really did. That helped. Thank you.
No, for sure.
We think about a player like Drummond who has made these mistakes and is really high risk, high reward, but kind of transitioning into a player like Ayo Dosunmu who seems to be doing everything relatively well and rising to the occasion. Started really well in Miami, didn't have as great of a game against Washington, but as the starter has looked really good. He's taking more threes, still the same defense, looking like a very promising player. The upside might have been a little understated in the past, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Ayo. So let me start with you, Dave. What do you think about how Ayo has looked this season? Are we sleeping on his upside long term? What do you think?
Are you asking them about their coworker?
Yeah, well, that's true. That's a conflict of interest then.
What?
I forgot about that. That might be a conflict of interest.
I'll contact their HR, but yeah, you're asking a question about their coworker,
I forgot about that.
Which is very cool. It's just very cool.
There was one moment we were watching the game last night at the studio, and Ayo was checking into the game, and I go to Dave, I was like, hey, look, it's our friend.
we know him.
We know your timesheets. Sorry to interrupt the question. I really hijacked that.
No, you're good.
It's good.
You know what's funny, John? Honestly, John, the first thing I was going to say is I want to hear what John has to say about this, and then I was going to go into it. That was literally the first thing I was going to say, and then you beat me to it. This is why I like you, bro.
Sorry.
No, it's why I love you. I really want to hear you.
If you're not first, you're last.
No, I really wanted to hear you. I mean that sincerely. That is sincerely what I was about to say, and then you said that, and that's awesome. That's called a connection, sir. I love what I'm seeing from Ayo. He's doing everything that that they said that I watched him work on kind of in the off season. I like that thing. I like when you see a guy and you see videos and stuff they're working on in the off season, that it's not just videos of them doing stuff in the off season. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll see people doing things oh man, that looks nice. And then you don't see it translate at all to the game. No, you saw Ayo working on his footwork, working on his handles, and working on his shot. You saw all three of those things, and you see them. I saw all three of those immediately in Miami. He's doing stuff. There was a play where he got the ball in transition, and he threw it to him over the half court line, and he got it. And then I can't remember the player who stood there. I think it was Caleb Martin, stood there for a charge. You know, Miami loves taking charges. They're like a college team. Right. They take charges and shoot threes. and he stood there for a charge. And I mean, Ayo just put a move, just a real quick on him and went left. And I was like, oh, and I jumped out of my seat and I went crazy. And I'm like, dude, did y'all just see that shit? Like, it was just that little kind of thing. And I saw him do it with Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry, the king of charges, tried to stand there and take one. And he kind of Euro stepped him and went around him for a layup. And it was just really excellent. He's learned that it's hard to call a charge if you're not coming full on. If you're coming full on, charges are easy. But he's moving and still going to where if they fall down, he hits them in the shoulder. They're not going to call a charge if you hit somebody in the shoulder. You know what I mean? That's just contact. That's just what that is. So watching him work on that and now have that in his game excited me. Watching him pass the basketball has excited me. One of the things I wanted to see was him have 4.5 assists a game. He had 5 in the first game, if I'm not mistaken. Second game, I think everybody was off. I think he had 2 in the second game. Everybody was off in that second game. But he looked better doing that. He looks better controlling the team as a point guard, as a leader. And that's the third thing, was the leadership, the point guardsmanship, as I talk about often. The leadership that he has. Talking to Drummond after Drummond had that technical foul. You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on, man. We need you, man. Come on, let's get this together. Like, you see him talking more. You see him more vocal with guys. I see him talking to refs a little bit more. We didn't see that in the rookie year. You know, we didn't see that, but now he's talking a little bit more. He's being a little more vocal, and that just comes from growth and being comfortable. You know what I mean? And you see that happening with him. And then you add in the scoring, you know, the 17 points, 3-point shooting that looked better. And you're going to have yourself a really good point guard. So yes, the growth of Ayo has definitely been exciting for me.
Matt, how about you? What have you seen from Ayo, like, that you've really been impressed with? Just in his totality of his game.
Yeah, I mean, Dave covered a lot of the work he put into his game in the offseason that's already evident through 2 games. The strength that he's put on his body, you notice it already on both ends of the floor, helping him out. He's done a really good job, I think, fighting over and around and through screens on the perimeter in these games, more so than he did last year. And that's huge. And that's just a young player adding more muscle and having the strength to fight through that kind of defense. And it's also giving him more confidence attacking the basket. And like, I know he got stuffed at the rim a couple of times in their game against Washington last night, but he has the confidence to drive to the basket. And I think that'll continue to grow with this strength that he's added. You know, Dave touched on the fact that his shot's getting better too. The release is quicker. The form looks better. It's a lot smoother than it was his rookie year. I think he's well on his way to being a viable 3-point threat, which is huge. But so to me, the thing that really stands out beyond all of the impressive X's and O's stuff and the physicality that he's added to his game is that he's continuing to show, as he did his rookie year, how freaking composed he is on an NBA court for a guy this early in his career. Nothing ever phases him. Nothing ever really. He never shrinks away from big moments. You know, and I know we talked about it on our post game after the Heat game on Wednesday night, but like that moment he had with Andre Drummond, when Drummond was just acting an absolute fool, got attacked after a dumb offensive foul, and here's Ayo, you know, 8-9 years younger than Drummond, telling him, "Hey man, chill. We need to close this game." And it's, you know, we saw him doing that with DeMar his rookie year when DeMar was getting frustrated about a no call or whatever. And he's like saving DeMar from getting attacked because he knows that they need him out there. That kind of stuff from a guy who's just now entering year 2 is not normal. It's not like I was the only young player who demonstrates those leadership capabilities this early in his career, but it's certainly a rarity. And the fact that the Bulls found themselves a player like that is incredible.
In the second round at that. That's pretty crazy.
True indeed.
Yeah, John.
Really, the gospel of Ayo Dosunmu was spreading because like everyone is jealous that the Bulls got this guy so late in the second round, and he looks like his potential. Like people, like we've been saying, even Ed mentioned his potential is underrated at this point. John, go ahead and like what?
Look, what else can be said? Like,
right,
he's awesome. as someone who also likes another team, very jealous. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're like, like he's a starting point guard on an Eastern Conference playoff team in his second year as a second rounder, and it's not even really his position. Incredible.
You know what's funny? Like Dave mentioned, obviously the offseason stuff he does, and everyone has things that they do in the offseason. Like people post mixtapes of what they're working on and whatever. But like obviously Ayo kind of had a quiet as far as hype is concerned on what he was working on. We randomly saw a little bit things here and there.
Yeah,
but the stuff that we saw, like the stuff that he saw, like he was working on his jumper, especially like that pull up jumper. He was working on his balance, like you talked about his footwork and things like that. Like he was doing like those one-legged squats essentially that kind of helps him keep his body control. And we've already seen that translate. Like remember when he was when he stole the ball and he was like, obviously you talked about the Euro stuff and stuff, but when he stole the ball, he was kind of tight-roping that baseline to keep stay in bounds, and so he could continue the play instead of having it being just the other team's ball still. And obviously the shooting we're seeing. Like you mentioned, it's translating the work that he put in. We're seeing it now, and that's just like amazing to see. Like everyone has whatever they do in the off season, but sometimes you don't really see the we saw you all this stuff that you supposedly worked on, but none of it.
I don't want to see the off season. I like it when it's like I whenever it's like performative, like Pat Bev and Tim's running on the beach or something. You're like, what are you doing? Like I don't. Like that is like the bare minimum. You don't get credit for working on your game. I like it. Like Jordan, would he have social media if he was in a different era? Like I just don't see it. He'd either have it or he'd be like KD and just start like respond to everything and like be like
he would trash talk everyone.
Yeah, he would just make people cry. But like it's like just work. Like this is the bare. You don't get credit for doing your job for millions of dollars.
I think Jordan would be like Kobe. Social media wise, like
I don't think so. I don't think he'd be as like
I think
cultivated.
He would have a team controlling his social media.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
I think
he wouldn't do it. I think someone would try to convince him to do it. He'd be like, "That's stupid." I don't think Kobe was like a brand. I don't think Jordan would have done.
Jordan was a brand.
No, but I don't think he would have done like. He's like, you take care of that for me. I'll show up to a commercial for 3 hours.
No, that's what I'm saying. So he would have a team run his account for him. Like
I think he'd be quieter than we think. I really do. Don't you? I think Pippen would have a big social media team.
Yeah. Scotty liked to talk. Yeah, Scotty would definitely be on there.
I think MJ
he messy.
Would be like,
Scotty is messy, bro.
I think MJ would be like, if you're familiar with how Jay-Z tweets, I think that's how Jordan would be. Once every 6 years, I don't know, like something like that.
Right, once every 6 years, right. And show up on Spaces one time out of nowhere.
Wilt would have been all over that on Tinder too.
Oh yeah. Wilt would have an Instagram. Wilt would be an Instagram legend. Like
yeah.
Actually, a lot of them dudes in the 70s, like they were that kind of super
TikTok.
flashy and smooth.
ABA would have been a TikTok league.
Oh my God, dude! Oh, Walt Frazier, look.
Can you imagine?
Oh man! Oh my, Walt Frazier, Twitter back. Oh my gosh!
Oh, dude, listen.
Forget about it, man.
All them outfits.
Forget about it, man.
Trying to be seen, bro. Trying to be seen. Okay. Yeah.
Forget about it, man. Like, on the topic of brands, what do y'all think Patrick Williams' brand is right now? It's still very early. I mean, it's 2 games. Anyone can have 2 bad games during the regular season, and people will. But given the hope that people have, the high draft pick, it hasn't looked good to start. So let me start with you, Matt. How do you assess what we're seeing from Patrick Williams in these 2 games, and do you think it is a level for concern?
Yeah, I'm getting there on my level of concern, because it's starting to look more and more like what some Bulls fans have been saying for a while now. I didn't want to believe it because I saw the physical tools that Pat had, and I saw the potential for his game to build out into something really beautiful and potentially dominant. But what those fans have been saying is, where is the aggression? I mean, and Stacey and Adam were joking about it on the broadcast last night against the Wizards. Like, it just looks like he's just floating through the motions on a basketball court, completely disinterested in what's going on around him. Like not grabbing a body and boxing out. When it's like, dude, one of the things you can do if you're not getting shots and people aren't running sets for you on offense, fucking go to work on the glass. Billy Donovan said to the media, I told Pat to go get some freaking rebounds. You want the ball? Go grab the ball off the freaking boards. He's not even doing that. He's got 4 rebounds for his first 2 games. That's your starting power forward. It just seems he seems completely disinterested in playing basketball. And that's the part that's worrying me now.
Yeah, 100%. Dave, why don't you go next? Like, I know you mentioned some stuff last night when you were on the show, but where are you at with Pat?
I'm not, I pick on Matt because, Matt, is always on the edge and, of anything, of all the time, but I'm with him right now. Like, yeah, I'm with him. I'm holding him by his shirt, but I'm with him right now. Yeah, man, that's the concerning part. For me, it has always been mental. It's never physical. Like Matt said, we see the physical tools. We know what it is. We see what he can be. For me, it was always a mental block for him. And right now, looking at him and how he's playing, I see you don't even see the guy you saw rookie year. And that's what's concerning, like you don't see the guy him being engaged, like him being aggressive and engaged are 2 different things. Like aggression is what you wanted him to be and work on, but engaged, like he already was doing that. We would see him get those blocks on Ayton. We see him get a block and then run the floor and get a ridiculous alley-oop and a great layup. It was just great engagement, like that. Now he's happy with just being there. Like he's happy with just being on the floor. Like, all right, I'm here. I'm just on the floor and that's cool. You know what I mean? And that's fine. And that's what's concerning to me because that's a regression. And I don't know where that idea came from for him. And that's what is disturbing to me. So I was reading something like Joe Cowley had said he had a one-on-one with Patrick Williams. And just reading the things that Pat Williams said when he said, I don't think it's easy to play with stars. Anybody can get the ball and score, but I think it's tough when you want to win and you play with stars. It's tough. And I'm like, that sounds like a dude who wants to be on the bench. Like, you know what I mean? That don't sound like a guy who wants to play and be the reason you win. He seems like he just wants to be a part of the winning, and that's comfortable for him. That's concerning. Like hearing that kind of statement and stuff like that is very concerning to me. If he's more comfortable on the bench, though, cool, fine. But go be the best bench player there that we have. You know what I'm saying? Be the 6th man of the year. I don't care. That's fine. Be Ben Gordon for all I care. I'm cool with that. But it's just that mental that he's speaking with now of him just, just running around. Just, that kind of stuff just concerns me. It really does. He's
not playing on the KD Warriors, too. Like, it's not like it's some super team where he's like, oh, there's so many stars, I can't even find my way in. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think you're both right because, like, I find myself, like, stuck between I know he's had all of these injuries and really hasn't played much as an NBA player, but at the same time, one of the things we were talking about during the offseason is that we just want whatever role he's in, like you said, Dave, we just want to see him become a star in his role. So whatever level of role player that is, be really good at doing that, but he's not even really good at being that. Like whether it's a low volume defensive role player, he's not even maximizing that. So I think that's really where my concern is falling in, that he just can't even get past that like initial level of just being really good at something very minimal on a playoff caliber team. What do you think, John?
I mean, I still believe, right? Like it's hard not to believe. He's the most coveted athletic wing that has offensive skill is still what every team is looking for. Then like, I think it's mental. We need to take him to Joshua Tree, drop acid. He needs to have like paradigm shift his brain. You know, when people do, I've never done it, but I really admire people who tell me they have. And like, and like, they're always like, there is a God, and and it's a face, and I'm now going to be a good person now. But they really described it. Like, I think he needs one of those moments because I do think he doesn't know. I don't know if it's being hesitant because of injury history, but it's like, that's everyone in the league. That's everyone in the league. Like, everyone has gotten hurt. It's not like he had a Sean Livingston type injury, right? That was like traumatic. And so I do think that like you hold on to him as long as you possibly can. His value's lower than it was, but like it's been 2 games. He's going to find his way in. And again, there's those types of positions, that athleticism, that size at that position, there's less than 10 in the entire league. And he's one of them.
Right. I think
true.
like, no, sorry.
But he was saying also, you know, like you got to get your all-stars off. Like, you know, you got to get those guys going.
He's overthinking it,
bro. You got to get going. Like, yeah, what are you thinking about?
Put that orange thing in that basket hole. Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Right.
Make that stop that guy from putting that orange thing in the other basket hole. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be
You're
point guard or coach.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need you to be the point guard.
That's not your job. Like, that's a Donovan thing then.
Honestly, I'm not like this offense, like whatever. Like, look, I wish he would do certain things more aggressively, assertively, mindset wise, but like, that's whatever to me. Like, what's frustrating me is the rebounding. 100%.
100%.
Anyone that's that tall, big and long, athletic, big ass hands like that, dude, there's no way you should end the game with 2 rebounds with how many minutes you're playing. Like to Matt's point, like you're not seeing him like when the Bulls are on offense, in particular, like when he's standing out on the perimeter and you know another teammate is shooting the ball, he kind of just trots back on defense, and it's like, dude, no, attack the glass, use your height, use your length, get on the boards, and then on the defensive end too, like, dude, just get aggressive on the board. If he did nothing else but this rebound, I think we would see a big, like, I think people would be not as frustrated, but I think that's the biggest thing for me right now. Just if you saw that aggressiveness, and then I think the offense would come slowly. I feel like his defense, like the first game overall, I thought he was solid. Yesterday, not so much. I think that'll come around. But like I said, just that part sticks out to me the most. It's like, how are you not rebounding the ball better? I just don't get that. And that's where the mindset, I guess, comes in, where it's like, man, you need to be starving for that ball. Like, I want this ball and I need to get this ball. And I just need to see that from him more so.
And that's frustrating because you saw him do it in that last preseason game.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Or you saw him do it in the regular season finale against Minnesota last year. It's like Pat has those games where it's like, oh, nobody else is playing. I'm the only one out here playing. I'm allowed to score. I'm allowed to be aggressive. Okay, cool. And then you're like, oh yeah, he dunked 5 times. It was crashing the boards all night. It's like, dude, you can still do that when Zach and DeMar are out there getting their buckets too. It's like he feels like it's like, I'm only allowed to go hoop if I'm the only one out here. It's like, nah, dude, that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's all mental. Like, that is all mental stuff, man. And that's the frustrating part is you see how good it is. And I'm in Marquet made the comparison of Lowry, and I thought it was a pretty accurate comparison because you saw all the skills and tools, and then you would go see him stand in the corner and be comfortable with that. And that's the idea that I don't like, is just being comfortable with it. Like, and you don't have to accept it. You know what I mean? Like, you can change it anytime you want to, but it has to be on you. And so worrying about DeMar, you think DeMar's going to get his shots, like whether you're there or not. Like, you don't have to worry about DeMar getting off or doing something. And if you're worried about your stars getting off and getting them going, if they don't get going, then what are you going to do? Like, if they go 0 for 5, 0 for 6, and they're not there, what's up? My point is, we aren't seeing you in any capacity of that, whether they're going or whether they're not going. I'm not seeing you, you know? And that's what it felt like 5-on-4 watching him in that Heat game, man. It really did. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Pat was out there. Like, I'm watching Drummond look like him. I'm confusing him with Andre Drummond because Drummond's going for tip dunks. I'm like, damn, Pat Williams did. Oh, that's Andre Drummond doing that? Like, it was shocking. And I did that a couple times, and it was surprising. But Yeah, man. But like John said, even with all this, it's the reason we feel like this because we still believe in this dude.
I do. I 100% do still. I still like. Yeah. I'm not out on him at all. And like I'm, obviously I want him to do well. Obviously, we all do because we're Bulls fans, and it matters to the team in particular for him to succeed. But yeah, we just need to see him like be more like just like he wants it more. Like he wants it. Yeah. Like he talks about wanting it, but like, dude, we need to stop talking about it. We just need you to do it.
Yeah, I'm not out on him, but game by game, the more I see of this, the more, what's the old saying? If somebody shows you who they are or tells you who they are, then believe them.
It.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, like he's showing me a lot. So I mean, maybe he's just not that type of guy, and I don't know what type of player that means he will end up becoming, but
correct.
Maybe him and guys like him and Lauri Markkanen, they're just not those type of guys that are really going to impose their will or aggression on a basketball game, regardless of
Lowry
the value
is
of a
now,
role.
baby. Lowry's home, baby. He's home, man.
Natural
habitat.
He's home.
Yeah. I told y'all, man to tell you, I told him for months. Is when they signed him to Utah. That dude was home. All right. He at the crib. He is home, baby. Oh my God. Yes.
I tell you what, Jazz are gonna have to trade some players if they want to actually tank for Wemby.
Oh, they will. Clarkson's gone. Rudy Gay's gone. They're all gone.
Their roster is too there's too much too many NBA players for it to truly tank. So
Walker Kessler.
Not him.
Texas Ranger.
Walker Kessler has not. I don't think he's missed a basket yet, guys.
Oh, he hasn't. Okay, I haven't watched.
Walker Kessler's
too much Jazz. Okay, fair enough.
Texas Ranger, baby.
You ever seen his face? That you look at him like that. Yeah, that's Walker Kessler. Yeah, that is definitely a Walker Kessler. Like no notes. They nailed it. Like their parents. That's it.
They've built a good Utah team, I guess. A fit for Utah.
Oh my God! He said no notes.
Oh my gosh! So.
Oh my God!
So we did have some bad news before all of these games started when we found out that Zach LaVine was going to miss the opener and would not play against Washington, but he is expected to play tonight against Cleveland. It was described as load management, knee management, whatever. It's kind of been a little vague, but there's been a lot of skepticism from Bulls fans and pretty much any fan about it after 10 days in between the end of preseason and the beginning of this season. So there's not a whole lot of information out there, but again, there is some rightful skepticism. So Dave, where are you at right now with Zach LaVine? Like, is this something? Is it nothing? Like, how do you expect him to come out tonight and play?
Oh, that's a good question. How do I expect him to come out? I don't know. I have no idea because I really don't know what this is. Is this management or is he hurt? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Yeah, it sounds weird. The whole thing sounds weird and tough. And I just don't know what to make of it right now because I've never seen a guy load manage on the first game of the season. And it's difficult. I've seen it after the first game, take the game off, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Yeah, but not to walk into a season after a few days prior, you were telling us how great you felt. And then it's like, all right, you can't play. It's like, oh man, this is a weird situation for me. I expect him, to try to do the things that he always does. But I will be watching to see how he does it. Because I don't expect him to be tentative, but I'm going to be watching for it, though. I'm going to be looking in. I'll see what it is. Yeah. I shouldn't say I'm concerned, but I'm looking at it a little differently, because it's weird. It's a weird situation.
John, I know you need to get going here, so we'll let you answer really quick.
Yes.
If you can. What are your concern level on Zach? Just because it's kind of weird that he sat out those 10 days, and then all of a sudden he can play game one.
What's the scale? Is it you said my level? So is it like DEFCON? Is it 5 Chili Peppers? I'm concerned. He's load managing before he had a load.
Yeah.
In a week prior, he was like, man, it feels so good to move without ever thinking about it. I feel so good.
Yeah.
I'm so free now. And then it was like, no, you're not. But in his defense, this schedule's insane to start the season. 2 games on the road, and then second night of a back-to-back is your home opener. That's insane against a good team. Like that feels stupid, and it feels like maybe they were just trying to save him for the home opener to make the home opener feel special and have it be. Maybe that's all it was, but it's a very weird schedule. But when you get surgery and then you don't play, we can't believe you when you say you're good.
Right. If this was February and they were doing this, I'll be like, yes, this is what I wanted them to do with Zach.
Yeah.
To start the season? Like what? What's going on here, guys? Come on. Like you're lying to us. Something's going on. Like, did he why if the knee was a concern, why was he playing at all in preseason? Like why did he log any minutes in preseason? He should have sat. Like after the first game, if there was like any thoughts that hey, my knee is maybe I should not be playing right now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a big investment for the Bulls for the amount of money that they signed Zach to, and I guess I don't really blame them for being extremely careful or overly careful with it.
Sure.
But it definitely doesn't really pass the smell test when you've had the time in between when the words he was saying kind of contradicted. So it's definitely a different situation. I think or not even really a different, but just an unpreferred situation. Matt, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned. I think the frustrating part for Bulls fans right now is that all we heard from Zach, from the Bulls, is had to play hurt because he did not want to miss his first chance at playoff basketball. We all respected that. And, you know, once again, witness just how tough Zach is. Okay, season's over. Great. Let's have that knee procedure. Knee procedure happens. They say everything goes fine. And Zach is spending the offseason, you know, rehabbing, recovering. And by the time they get to training camp, all we're hearing is Zach feels great, good, full participant in practices, playing 5-on-5. Everything's good. Meanwhile, Bulls fans were all like, you know, spending most of their time concerned and worried about what the heck was going on with Lonzo, and that news getting worse and worse and worse by the day. So we all just kind of, I think, wanted to assume that, hey, well, at least Zach's fine. Because, you know, who wants to deal with worrying about the knees of 2 of your team's most important starters when you're going through your, you know, few weeks of training camp? And then the way that it was just all of a sudden, seemingly, to us, you know, Dave and I joked about it. It's like they get on a plane to Miami for their season opener and then drop an injury report that's like, oh, by the way, Zach's questionable. Bye. We're all like, wait, no, timeout. What? Zach's questionable for the season opener? Why? How? What changed from when Zach 2 days ago said, fine, feel great, loving it, loving life, ready to play? What? Now it's minor discomfort. It's managing an injury. It's not load management. It's knee injury management. Like, what the hell does that mean? It's just the latest example of not getting a straight answer. And that's something that Bulls fans, I think, are allowed to be frustrated by. As far as it looks like he's going to play against the Cavs tonight in the home opener, and then we'll see where we go from there. Based on what Billy said about this earlier this week, I'm not feeling super confident about this. Like, well, he's just going to have to load manage sometimes. We'll see. But maybe it's just that he needs to play his way back in because it's the first 5-on-5 he's played in a long time because he didn't do any of that while he was rehabbing the offseason. I don't know, man. It was frustrating the way that we learned about it. It's still confusing what exactly is going on. I know Bulls fans feel like we're being lied to, or that, you know, shades are being drawn over our eyes in some capacity. All we know is it looks like he's going to play tonight, and then from there, one day at a time. That's what this sounds like to me right now, and that sucks.
I think what we need to see is him being Zach out there. Like, if we see that, then I think we'll be like, okay. That's fine. Let him sit. Like I said, I want him to load manage. I do. Throughout the season, I want their games where, look, let's sit Zach if there's a back-to-back or 4 games in 5 nights. It just, like I said, it just really annoying or concerning that it happened like the season opener. It's like, what?
Right.
Yeah, that's the concerning part. Not the load management. It's when, not the what, where, the when. That's what's really annoying, concerning. But like I said, like if today he comes out and he looks like Zach for the most part, obviously there's going to be some rust, but like you still see like the things he does out there, hitting those tough shots, getting into the paint, doing the things that he normally does. I think we'll be like, that's okay, cool. Look, collective sigh of relief in Bulls Nation. But
and it's sorely needed too. Celine, it's sorely needed. Like
DeMar needs help, man. Like that. On the perimeter. Like obviously Vooch is there and he's been great. But like you're kind of seeing, like to your point, when with that second unit, we need somehow with one of Zach or DeMar to blend in with that second unit to have a dependable half court scorer.
Yeah,
it's
you got to have it, man.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. We just got out of it, or not even got out of it, but we just kind of went through this with the Lonzo Ball situation where almost like a normal injury just keeps getting kicked further and further and further down the road. And then like it's trickling into this season and it becomes more of a long-term concern. So like for Bulls fans, it's like, all right, this whole thing with Zach is starting light and, it's something from last season, but we get these vague updates, then questionable out of nowhere, then missing the games. And then it's just like, Bulls fans are really justified in kind of being like, shit, here we go again. Like, what's going on? Like, hopefully this doesn't become something that affects the team at a really crucial point in the season. So if it's more than, can they just say it, or I don't know. Like it just kind of sucks being in the dark about it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, and it just really sucks because Bulls fans, like we've had to deal with stuff like this like every kind of off season. You know what I mean? Like it's par for the course, and it's not normal. You know what I mean? It's not normal at all. But it's sadly been normal for Bulls fans to go into a regular season not whole. Not having everything, all your pieces in place and everything ready to go. It's always something, you know what I mean? Like something had to happen. And that's how it's just been, for Bulls fan. That's what sucks about it, because you don't want that, especially when you saw the team this season. I was, really excited going in, watching it. What gave me calm is like, okay, well, they still have a decent team. Even with that, they still have a decent basketball team that can hold the line. But it's the fact that you don't want to deal with the extra of it. You know what I'm saying? And them not being forward about it was a surprise to me because, I understand you don't hear things that come out of that front office, which I don't mind. That's cool with me. But not being forthcoming, you know what I'm saying, with Bulls fans. And like Matt said, just hopping on the plane and then dropping it on you as they get on the plane. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like that. They don't owe us anything. I'm just telling you what I didn't like. But yeah, man, like, and that's the concerning part. But you're right, Celine. If I see Zach come out and, he does a couple of those moves, he's got that burst, he hits a couple shots, looks solid. And again, winning cures everything.
Right.
So, getting a win tonight would be huge for that. Also against your division rival.
Yeah. This is a big game tonight. Not like in the grand scheme of things where it's going to determine something down the road, but I mean, you're playing against a really talented Cavaliers team, new look Cavaliers team with Donovan Mitchell, all of his talent. Like it's a good early season test for this team. So a really big game tonight. So we talked about DeMar DeRozan and how amazing he's looked. We talked about Vooch, who seems to be turning it around. Hopefully Zach is on that same level when he comes back tonight from his injury. Let me start with you, Dave. Do you see any, like, who are your predictions for like all-star appearances this year? Do you see any all-NBA appearances on this team this year? Potential MVP. I don't know, but like, what award predictions do you have for any players on this team this year?
Well, whatever they are, they're all going to DeMar.
Yeah,
like he gets all the awards. Like that's who gets them all. Like it is DeMar DeRozan. Every award he gets it. 6th man of the year, sure, why not? Hand it to him. He gets all the awards. But even more honestly than that, you can look at Ayo getting some love probably for like, and I shouldn't say he won't be in it because I don't know how it will end, but stuff like most improved player, he can be for. I want to see Kobe White being discussed in the 6th man of the year award. Like, I don't think he'll be in it, like the finishing the top 3. I just want him to be discussed. That's all I really want. Caruso, defensive player, on the all defensive team, I should say, because he was headed there last year for sure, before the injury. And yeah, like those kind of awards I want to see. But I want the health award, honestly. Like, give me the health award and I'll be fine. Give me the Rush Hospital Health Award for this Bulls team, and I'll be good to go. Like, because they got to be healthy, man. Because I really want to see, because this team just they're built to run, and they're deep, like you said, Ed. I've said that often on the show, like how deep this bench is when everybody's there. Like, this is they are built to get on your nerves and run. Like, that's what they're built to do. Get on your nerves and run. Agitate you, get in your passing lanes, get on your nerves and run. And you kind of saw that stuff in the first 2 games. They were getting on their nerves, taking the ball from them and running. And that's what you want to see from this Bulls team, especially on that bench, because that bench has potential to be one of the best in the league, I think. So, yeah, as far as the awards, though, like everything's to DeMar, and maybe like Ayo, Kobe, and Caruso getting some consideration as well.
Matt, what you think?
How about you?
If there was a health award, the Bulls wouldn't even be in the others receiving votes. They would just be listed as also ran if there was a health award.
Absolutely true.
My God,
absolutely true.
I mean, Dave's on the money. If anybody on this Bull squad right now, as things look 2 games into an 82-game season, is going to be in contention for awards and honors, DeMar's going to make an all-star team again. DeMar might have it in him to make another all-NBA selection. Huge if Zach actually works his way past this, knee whatever it is, and plays 60-plus games and is who he was last year, then Zach will certainly be vying for another all-star selection. And beyond that, I think the most likely other possibility is Caruso making all defense. Assuming that Lonzo's out until at least January, he's not going to get there with just half a season at best. And I don't really, I love Dave's optimism for wanting Kobe to at least be sniffing that conversation for 6th man. I don't see that as a very likely scenario. And I mean, like, seeing Ayo be in the conversation for most improved would be incredible. Seems like an outside shot, but who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows? If Ayo ends up, and the conversation that we had with our guy Mark K on Wednesday night's post game is like, and I think it was spawned from somebody in our comments, like, what if by the time Ayo is actually ready, or Lonzo is actually ready to come back, Ayo's just won that starting job? Certainly possible. If that's the case, then maybe he would be in the conversation for most improved player. But yeah, I mean, DeMar being an all-star is the obvious 1A answer. And beyond that, I would see a whole lot.
I would consider, let's say I'm hoping it doesn't come to it, knock on wood, but if Pat doesn't, get going by then, I would even just consider starting Lonzo at the 3 and then move DeMar at the 4 and kind of do that small ball 4-guard lineup with Vooch in the middle.
We'll mention that too.
Yeah, we talked about that too. Like, hey, just, start both. Start Lonzo and start Ayo.
Right. If it comes to that, I mean, it is, it's a good problem. Ayo's giving us a good problem to have, right? Like,
true. Yeah.
Look, I'm not complaining about it. I'm not, I love it. I love that, this kid is so good that we're just like, man, I don't know if we can take him out of the starting lineup. So that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah,
that would be great to hear.
Yeah, I'd love to see him as a dark horse for MIP.
Yeah.
Only downside is that isn't like MIP is usually like people that like just launch and like scoring like points per game and scoring.
Yeah.
So so you might not get it, but could certainly definitely be in the conversation for it if he is maybe it's an outside chance he hits like 15 a game this year or 14 a game. I don't know, but with that and good defense, I think that's in the discussion.
The other thing that we need to see is Javonte win the dunk contest and Andre Drummond win the 3-point contest. Those are the other awards.
So do you think with the way Vooch has started out, there's like maybe a borderline chance of him getting all-star considerations?
Who, Vooch?
Yeah,
sure. I don't see why not.
Or even maybe like an injury
It's certainly
replacement.
not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
No, he's honestly a 30 and 10 game away from consideration like that. Honestly, like he drops 30 and 10 on a game where it's on like ESPN or something like that. He'll immediately get consideration, like without doubt.
Yeah,
because he's already been there. They know he's an all-star, and people are creatures of comfort. And so since you know him, you'll be like, oh yeah, I watched him drop 30 and 10. Like he's still good.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah, I mean, and like I think the Vooch slander on Bulls Twitter has been a little more subdued in these first 2 games than it was most of the entirety of last season. There are still some hangers on to Vooch Hater Nation. Shout out to our friends, C-Red Fred and his pal Doug, who are still slandering Vooch on their Twitter timelines. I mean, like, all they have to hang their hat on as Vooch haters through these first 2 games is, he's not hitting his threes.
Right.
All right. Hit maybe the biggest 3 of the game next to DeMar's in their win in Miami.
Sure did.
And then, hit a couple in the game against Washington. And, oh, by the way, is like averaging close to 20 and 15 through these first 2 games and playing better defense, competent defense. I mean, and we all know how underappreciated he is as a passing big man, keeping that ball moving. But Vooch is great. I don't know. It's hard to get all-star nods when you're a big in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Fewer spots. And there's so many just incredible big men in the Eastern Conference. So it's hard. It's hard to see Vooch making an all-star appearance this season, but I like what I've seen through 2 games, and I don't care that he is, that he's not shooting 50% from the 3-point line. Who knows? Maybe his numbers will still come up. All I want is for him to shoot 35% from the 3-point line instead of 31% like he did last year. If he does that and does all the other things that Vooch is great at doing, I'm happy.
It's frustrating. Like I love Fred and Doug, but like they've lost the boat on the Vooch discourse. They've completely lost the boat on it, and it's getting frustrating to the point where like I just need to stop like responding. I just need to pull back and just stop responding to the Vooch discourse. Just ignore it. He missed shots, but it was just perplexing, and I was like, just completely like, how the hell are you saying he had an awful game? What? Like,
say he had an awful game?
Yeah, he like
which game?
It was at game 1 at halftime. He was saying Vooch is awful, and I said, he missed shots, but have you seen everything else he's doing out there? Are you paying attention? What is going on? Like this is like it's like a bit that they're just dug into so hard that they can't let go of it, that they have to just be negative and hate on Vooch, and it's just like, stop. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know. All
right, breathe, Celine, breathe, baby.
And then there are people that agree with them. Like, are you guys all like just like on drugs right now? What's going on?
I think so much of the Vooch stuff is still based on the trade and Wendell Carter looking good playing in Orlando. True. So I think it's that, and it's like, he could have been doing that in Chicago. He wouldn't have been doing that in Chicago. But I think it's
he needed a change.
Yeah, he needed that change.
He said it. Yeah. He said it to. We have Mark Schindler on often, and he told Mark that he needed to a change of scenery. He told Mark that.
Yeah.
So like this whole conversation that Wendell would just be doing that here, everything that he's doing now in Orlando. No, he would not.
Oh no. I've been saying no.
Also,
we've had
Vooch and Wendell's numbers last year were not like that different. Wendell's weren't like astronomically better than Vooch's, and Vooch was having a tough down year, finding his role on a new team that won 46 games. Wendell was looking slightly better than the garbage we saw through the first 3 years of his career on one of the worst teams in the league, and everyone was like, "Oh, we must find more flower petals to throw at the feet of Wendell." / this trade was terrible for the Bulls. I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
By the way, they're 0-2. Like, just want to toss that out. And again, he's still like me and Matt always say, like, dude, he's going to get you like 10 points, 10 rebounds. He's going to always be around that. And that's what he's having. Like, he's 12 points, 10 rebounds. Like, that's what he's going to get you. That's Wendell. I don't even like saying it because he is playing better. And I said that when he left, I was like, oh yeah, that's a good place for him because it's not going to be on him as hard in Orlando. It's just not going to be on him. Yeah, and he found out he was blind. He went out there, he was like, oh, I can't see. Yeah. I can't see. And it's great. I'm like, all right, yeah. So
I'm a Wendell, I'm a Wendell guy. I like him. I do think, like, you know, there's certain things about him when he was here. It was mental too, like his offensive side. His defense was always good.
And some of that wasn't his fault.
Yeah, no, some of it wasn't his fault. It was kind of like the Jim Boylan thing, kind of yelling at him for shooting jump shots. Sorry, I brought up Egghead, but I had to.
Lucky I left my Lorelines at the.
I know. But like, it's just that kind of stuff. And Wendell is like the Wendell we're seeing now. It's what we would have seen if his development hadn't been like stalled here.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, but like I said, with Vooch, it's like the conversation around him, it's just become like goofy.
I'm gonna rename this like seasonal scapegoat award to the Carlos Boozer
seasonal
award.
Scapegoat. Wow, I like that.
It's the Carlos
every
Boozer
year
award.
there's a scapegoat. So this year it's gonna
Carlos
be like
Boozer award.
It seems to be like Kobe so far this year, or like
Pat is running away with. Pat is running away with it. So we will probably see the Vooch hate drop as the season goes on, but it's only because the Pat hate is going to rise. So I expect Carlos Boozer to present him the award on the floor of the United Center at the end of the season. So
expectations of keeping him high for that, sir.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
All right.
But yeah, man, Bulls fans, I like that, bro. Like it's never a middle ground. It's either you're one way or the other way. You're 0 to 60 or you're 60 to 0. You know, it's never
all or nothing.
Ground,
All or nothing.
It's like, all or nothing. Right.
You can't do nuance here. You can't do nuance.
No.
You either suck or you're good. It's like no middle ground. You can't you can't say, okay, he did some things that weren't good, but look, he also helped. Like, you can't do that.
Like, who you like DeMar DeRozan, like, yeah, the dude averaging 30 plus. Yeah, like you're rolling with, yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like but you're right. Like, this is how it is, man. But you know, we love y'all.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Nah, that is what it is. We did lose John. I had one more before we wrap up. Just something fun that I thought we would do. It's a game that's been made popular because of TNT and one Charles Barkley game called Who He Played For. So I am going to share my screen here so that I'm not just going to name names to make it a little more fair. And obviously with John Gano, just going to be between you and Matt. So between Dave and Matt. And so first one I'll do, it's a little bit of easy one, I think. So I think I'll the first player we'll go with, if you can name this player, Johnny Davis, who does he play for?
I'm just tell you right now, I'm sure I'm going to suck at this. Johnny Davis. I mean, I don't even know your face or your name.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah.
I see it. I see it.
Okay, I didn't know if you like literally meant like you can't, or just like you meant like you don't recognize it. Okay.
Both.
Both?
No.
Johnny Davis. I'm gonna say.
Wait, does he play for
Orlando?
Washington?
I'm gonna say Orlando.
So
I feel
your
like
final answer is Orlando.
I feel like I saw him on their bench last night. I'm gonna say Washington.
Right,
okay,
Matt,
I'm not gonna say
final
Orlando.
answer Washington.
No, Orlando. I'm gonna say Let's go with the Kings. Give me Sacramento.
Okay. So Matt's correct. He plays for the Wizards. Yeah, that's why I said it was easy because we just played them last night, and I don't know if you guys saw when they were doing their starting lineup that they announced them. So, not the starting lineup, but the introduction of the entire team.
No, I was watching DJ Cool, man. I was looking at DJ Cool do the introduction.
Fair enough.
That's a tough one right out the gate.
Yeah, for real.
All right, so the next guy, Georgiou Deng, who he play for?
I want to say Minnesota so bad, but I know that's wrong.
Too.
But
right,
I feel like
exactly.
didn't he used to play for the T-Wolves?
He did, definitely.
Yeah, he used to.
He definitely played for Minnesota. He definitely was there.
Isn't he on
now?
Is he on Houston?
Oh,
I don't
know. Phoenix? I'll say Phoenix.
I don't know why I want to say Houston, but I don't know.
Because you're probably right.
Yeah, I might be wrong.
Indiana.
That's a good guess.
Ed was the closest geographically. Is that word geographically?
Geographically,
yes.
He was the closest. He plays for the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Here's a guy, a Bulls killer.
My man.
Ish Smith. Who he played for.
My God. Okay, I'm going to be upset that I'm going to miss this because I saw him in the preseason.
Yep.
And I was like, there go my guy. And I was very happy and I was excited.
Do you want me to see if you can get do you want me to let you try to guess, Dave? Because I know.
I know you know. Yeah, I know you know. And let me think though. Let me go back. All right. So I'm just thinking of who the Bulls played in the preseason. So it was the Pelicans. It was the Bucks. It was against the Bucks. And he's not on the Pelicans and he's not on the Bucks. So he's on one of the other two teams. Denver.
Is it? Why do I want to say the Hornets?
I'm rolling with Denver.
I'm saying Charlotte.
He was definitely on Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I know they didn't play him in the Charlotte in the preseason.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm not saying Charlotte.
Detroit.
Nugs, baby.
Detroit.
Nugs.
Oh, Nuggets.
It was
That's correct. So Dave, you get one. You're on the board. Ish Smith.
All right, I'll take that.
Denver Nuggets.
All I want is one. We good.
He's played on like 15. He's played on like 15 teams though. It seems like a lot.
Yeah, he's a career journeyman. He's a career journeyman for sure. He's like the new. He's like the new Rick Brunson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, Ed, he got fabulous locker, man. With all them jerseys, baby.
100%.
He got fabulous. He got
rainbow of jerseys. For sure.
That's a fact.
All right. This next guy.
Kevin Knox.
The guy has not been very good in the league so far.
I only remember him with the Knicks.
Used to be
I only
Knicks.
remember him with the Knicks.
Pretty sure he's with the Pistons now.
I only remember the Knicks, so I'm just saying Knicks.
I'm saying, well, he got traded to the Hawks, right? So he left after? I don't know.
He's been traded like 8 times.
I don't know this one. I guess I'll say Hawks.
Matt's running away with this thing. It's the Pistons.
Of course he is.
Kevin Knox plays with the Pistons.
Shout out.
Last one we have.
Just got traded.
Yeah,
Utah. Brooklyn. Utah to Brooklyn.
I know this
he's
one.
definitely on Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. Should have started with this.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, for real, man. Let's start with that.
Royce O'Neal was the motivation for the Windhorst. Why would they do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I think I had joked that that trade Atlanta and Thunder did, like that random trade with just a bunch of guys that are not any name that eventually got waived, and it was just like for like a cap clearing trade. Mm-hmm. I joked that they just did this to make who he played for.
You mean the Gar Forman special?
Yeah, I joked that they made this trade just to make who he played for tougher on Charles Barkley.
Oh man!
Because that was exactly a who he played for trade. Like I was like, "What is this? This is like who? Like
yeah." I'll take this, man. I'm proud of myself. I got 2.
I got none.
that.
I got none. I'm proud of myself for getting close on Gorgie Jang though. I'll take that.
Gorgie Jang. Wow.
I was trying to be as tough as possible. I think I selected good players. Like he has to be like journeyman and guys that you don't really hear about a lot.
Yeah.
So
that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Now is it true? Now none of them have played for the Bulls.
No, they have not. I've wanted.
No.
There's been many times that I wanted Ishmael just because as a third guard. As a third guard, just to get him. Just because he could like score and like Bulls always needed like a utility point guard because their point guards are always injured. So I was like, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea to have a Ish Smith be your third guard. Just on rough.
Never a bad idea to have an Ish Smith point guard.
When we were forced to sit there and watch those, who years when Dave and John and I were doing, Ish Smith would have been the second best player on those teams behind Zach. Oof. And that's like not even exaggerating.
Yeah. Man, I still can't believe like people hated on Zach for like not taking those teams to the playoffs when he was literally playing with guys. Like it's funny when we after
people
last
are dumb,
season,
Salim. People are real dumb.
It's insane. Like you look at like last season when after the roster turnover and like the top 5 minutes players were not even in the league anymore. I was like, and you expected Zach to take this team to the playoffs. Like Thaddeus Young, love Thaddeus Young, who's been a solid vet and a solid career, was the best player that Zach has ever played with.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we hating on Zach?
That is the exact reason why I've found the discourse among certain pockets of NBA people, some of whom are nowhere around the Bulls organization or Bulls basketball, who are like, oh yeah, Zach's going to leave in free agency. He's unhappy because DeMar came and stole his thunder.
That.
It's like, are you people insane? Dak is making his lucky stars that finally he has some talent around him to help him win fucking games.
Right.
Yeah. That was classic material. I remember that.
I think
it's to create those clicks. They need somebody. They need stories to talk about. Zach was the best free agent on the market, so they needed to create headlines to get clicks.
Yeah,
so, it is what it is. Y'all are in that business now, man. You don't become clickbaiters. Don't become clickbaiters.
we just are who we are, bro.
Man. We just sit in those chairs and yell for a half hour before the game, and then yell for another hour after the game.
Yeah, and yell during the game. So
we just don't put that part out there.
I asked about where the Matt anger meter was yesterday. You guys didn't answer. I need to know.
Did we miss that?
Yeah, I had super chatted, and you guys. I think Joey
was super angry.
I was bummed that DeMar missed that shot, but I thought that collectively they did not play that well, and we're lucky to have a chance to steal that game. My anger meter last night after that game was, I don't know, probably like a 2. Like I was bummed that DeMar missed that shot, but whatever. It's game 2 of 82. Yeah. I need to fucking.
It's still plenty of time to get that up. I mean, it's gonna happen.
No. Don't underestimate the 2, though. Is what I'm trying to tell you. All right, there's a lot going on in that 2. A lot going on.
If they lose to the Cavs at home tonight, we'll
you going to 10 if they lose tonight? Oh my God!
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I need to see a win tonight. Like I know it's not like I mean it's not a must win, obviously.
Of course not.
But
it's October. It's not a must win.
It's relaxed. It's not a must win, guys.
No, but like I need to see a win.
It's the third
tonight.
game of the season.
No, for sure.
But you want to win.
It's a good
It's the home opener. You want to win after a tough loss yesterday. You want to come back with Zach and get the win. We completely get it. But don't jump off the ledge, Bulls.
For sure.
All right. It's all we saying.
Yeah. Well,
we know y'all going to, and that's all right.
It's always a roller coaster.
If you do jump off that ledge, come hang out with us tonight.
Yeah.
We'll catch you. We got your net, baby. Come on, hang out.
Oh, my gosh. Big Dave, Matt, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Go Bulls. No, I'm good, man. It's always a joy and a pleasure and a privilege to come chat with you guys. Ed, Salim, Bulls Gold, always good stuff. And it's just awesome that we, off seasons are a long wait. And I know Dave and I and our crew at CHGO are all thrilled to have Bulls basketball back. I know you guys are too.
Yeah.
100%.
Very thrilled for that. Very thrilled to hang out with you guys in the pregame and the postgame when we do the show, and even more thrilled to be on y'all's show doing this, man. So it's always fun talking to y'all, man, for real. Ed, don't be surprised I hop on a plane and just surprise you one day and just show up.
Yo, hey, man. Hey,
I do shit like that.
Come on down, man.
I'm inviting myself to tag along.
I tell you what, man, you can come man. If you can tell me who one of these people are. Tell me who one of these people are. You can come. Just one.
Johnny Davis.
Okay.
Johnny Davis.
Right there.
Ish Smith.
Ish Smith is a good answer. I'll even give you bonus points.
Who you rap for?
I'll even give you bonus points. I give you bonus points if you can tell me who the person in the middle is supposed to be.
Oh, see, that's tough. Oh, that's cold. That's cold, Ed. Don't do that. Oh, Ed, don't do that too.
No, that's too much.
That's awesome.
We always love talking with y'all. Always like some of our like funnest episodes. So always great to have you on. And yeah, we're grateful for Bulls basketball to be back. Even we were just talking about the bad Bulls basketball teams of the last 3 or 4 years. So like for me, and I've always told this to Dave when we've had him on, I remain eternally grateful that there are adults in the room, and I will never complain about that because that means I get to watch entertaining basketball. So if that means watching Andre Drummond go into isolation and then making a big play on the other end, I am completely fine with that.
You don't know how much you helped me, Ed. I promise you.
I'm good with that.
It's so different.
The alternative is it could be much worse.
Oh, yes, it can. Oh, God.
Salim, any final thoughts before we wrap up, man?
Yeah, much love to Dave, Matt. Much love to John. I'm sorry, John, if you end up listening to this. Apologize, we kept you a little longer than you were intended to stay. But I love everything y'all do. I support you guys fully. Everywhere you go. CHGO has been awesome. Obviously, I know a few people at CHGO, so it's just like it's kind of like supporting. For me, it's supporting friends. So, like, it's I love y'all. Everything
we appreciate it, and that's why the support goes two ways.
Yes, sir.
We respect and appreciate and enjoy what you guys do here. And that you've been working at it for a long time. There is a short list of people that I would agree to do a podcast with and for in the middle of my Saturday. You guys are on that short list.
No, we're grateful.
Definitely appreciate that. Yeah. We definitely need to get together again. I like throwing the pieces that we went to pizza. I get some pizza. We should definitely do something like that again.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you, next time we have a Bulls outing, because I'm sure we'll have one this season for CHGO, we'll definitely put that out there. And you can come through, bro. And everybody who else want to come through, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun, bro.
Or should we just go to a Windy City Bulls game and have a fun hangout with Fred, and he can tell us how much Vooch sucks.
Yeah, that was for sure.
I'm never against seeing Fred, man. Never against seeing.
I love Fred. Like I always love Fred, but like he's crazy.
Fred,
he
Fred, the very friendly human being, adore. Fred, chaotic, awful takes Bulls.
Yes,
I could do without.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm excited that obviously Bulls are back. They're so fun. There's a lot to be desired. Ayo Dosunmu, the gospel of Ayo Dosunmu has spread across everyone. You're seeing like someone like Nekias Duncan, who's a big NBA Twitter, very knowledgeable basketball person, has talked about Ayo. You're seeing a lot of Ayo love out there. That's gonna be exciting to watch Ayo all season as he keeps ascending.
100%.
And people keep crying that the Bulls were able to steal him from everyone.
100%.
Yeah.
We're hoping to see him in the MIP conversations. We know he's not winning the Carlos Boozer Awards, so that's good. So, yeah, love what I'm seeing.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out my guys, Chris and Lero. They started their site, Swish Theory, their podcast. The first episode was really fun. A lot of great content. Go read my guy Lero Golden's article. I don't know if you guys read it yet. Breaking down the game one of the Bulls after the Heat. Fantastic read. Really breaks down plays. Coach Lero breaks down, teaches you some things about the X's and O's that are happening in the middle of the game. Check it out if you have an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Check that out. Lero is killing it over there. Chris and Lero are absolutely killing it. So, yeah. Everyone's doing big things in the Bulls community, man. So yeah, very excited. Yeah. But that wraps today's Bulls Gold. As always, you can catch our past shows wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, on Spotify, on Podbean, and you can catch us right here on the Barroom Network. So for Salim Sudawala, I'm Edward Schuler. This has been Bulls Gold, and we will catch you next time, Bulls fans.